Okay, I got to talk about the crypto channels because at one point in time, those crypto guys that are like every time you see their picture, like telling you about some coins that are flashing signals, those guys at one point in time were necessary to get my thinking right on some other, off of something and onto something, but they never at some you're gonna see like you whatever success you had when you were getting onto something new, it was you because those guys never help anybody. If you can talk about something like when you might be wrong, like a month or a week or a day before, like as long as there's some time for you to act on it in some coherent sense that you it can be done, that would be valuable. But because you might be wrong 9 times out of 10, they don't ever choose to do that, and only have to be right 1 out of 10 times, and we're even Steven, right? But because they want to have their facts in order, it's like you could still not be right with your facts in order. So like because of the difficulty in talking about something where you might be wrong, you know, in normal conversations you're going to get cut off, so I guess on YouTube you're not going to get any looks. And so it's like it doesn't, it's, I can't say it doesn't happen because there are channels out there that do that, but they get shadow banned. If you I'll take a wild speculation sometimes, and to make it more, because if there's nothing new or vibrant happening, sometimes your wildest guess can have some new perspective or something similar to more in line with what's actually going on. And so and then there's people that have important information, but you're not supposed to go off their advice. You're just supposed to hear what they know about, you know. And they might not like all of their views. It's never about whether you like a person or not, because they can only become agreeable when you program together. Like you said, if you program together, you know. And that makes them agreeable, and it's understandable that somebody would want to come along and change your program to make you program more like they do. Like that's like understandable, and it would be like, oh, okay, right, I get it. So because of that, I guess people think you're trying to brainwash them. So if you spoke the honest to God's truth, sometimes maybe it sounds like telling somebody what to do, but actually a perspective is what actually puts in work. So if a perspective is putting in work, it might sound like I'm telling you what to do. But if you already know you're going to do what I'm saying, then to be clear, I'm not telling anybody what to do. You're just highlighting that there's a pothole or something and you shouldn't drive over it. Slow down, make your way around it or whatever, right? And then you will be like, great. But if somebody's got a hustle where they're repairing alignment of all these shock systems and everything, if they're repairing shocks, and so they want to keep all those accounts going. Interestingly, right, disruptors come from problem solvers. And so you're solving problems, then you can become disruptive if you're giving people a way out of something. But that's also advisable because it could be very valuable. You could be very valuable right? And it all goes to say you shouldn't just like you shouldn't do what somebody tells you, like almost never, because all we are is a career. Like I can't help anybody because at some point in time I'm going to go back into my career, and what I think is medicine might not be helping. Then what you would be like, what are you doing, right? So those guys, it's funny how they never end up helping anybody. You could be wrong 9 times out of 10 and still help somebody. At some point in time, the responsibility is on you to know how you want to, what kind of exposure you want, or what you want to do with something, or how to research it or anything. Why these guys keep winning is because the way that they talk is talking to sort of people directly that like to be told what they should do. So it's encouraging to them to see somebody who always feels like, oh, yo, if you don't listen to me right now, stay poor. Stay poor. Don't, you know, saying somebody like this, somebody you got to listen to. Like you could tell by the way that, like my mannerisms or whatever, you know what I mean, that this is your chance. Like this will be your chance to get on, right? Or something like. But that's like buying the news. And some people sell the rumor. You want to buy the rumor and sell the news, but even you can buy the rumor and sell the news and make money, and still there's somebody selling the rumor. There's still somebody selling the rumor. They're just good at knowing what the next source of intrinsic value is, what people are going to be wanting to do, and what and something about market share of because see, like even before that market is developed and what it needs to be able to function, to be able to do, there are still speculative bubbles that come around by people looking for new places to put money that doesn't know where it can go. So it's like mopey, and it's like, where can I go and shit. And if you get into the smaller projects that people dump money into after they've already made money, you can make a lot more money in something that would be a scam for everybody else's purposes. For even talking about it, don't bother. Don't even do it. Because for you it is a scam. Like it's people are probably trying to get you to open a link so they can give you a gift that would pique your interests, and you would thinking it's a stable economy that's going to continue. Then they can dump on your head. They can just dump it on. So you have to look at the career and that person's nest egg, and when you're talking about taking advice from them, like don't believe that they're going to turn over their nest egg. If it's a point where they get to arbitrate, then that's for them to do. Then they never gonna let you in on the real hustle. They're gonna do it. So who is, right? You would wonder who is gonna let you in on it, right? It's gonna be somebody who is creating new functionality. They have they have the right to say that, because they're saying, well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this, and that, and we're gonna have this running, and it's gonna drive attention and pique interest toward the new functionality and a new market. Like there's gonna be new market makers wanting to show up. Like everybody's gonna want to be a market maker, and so this is gonna be a big thing, right? And an intrinsic store of value, right? They could say that, but nobody's gonna believe them because they're gonna be like, "Yo, you didn't make that yet." And it's still gonna they can you can love what somebody makes and not know what goes into it, and not know anything what goes into it. So, who, um, so what is it that those guys are really doing, right? That when they like what they're really doing, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're looking at trends in the cycles that they tell you right out. They don't lie to you. They tell you what it is: fear, greed, uncertainty, doubt, and whatever. Like they look at psychology, and they try to speed it up a little bit. As long as you're right and you know what is inclined to happen, then you can play those volatility a little bit better. And they are leverage traders, experienced leverage traders, shilling platforms with an affiliate link, and going off of aggregated data and market psychology. They're acting like a catalyst, like a catalyst, and that might be completely alien to us and everything. You know what I mean? Because they seem like well-behaved citizens, and I'm so wild and everything, coming out of like form of lethargy, and so wild and whatnot. Then used to wash off. Used to go and get produce from the compost behind Trader Joe's or something, or whatever you can wash off, or like. So it's like people don't want to deal with that. It's like, how could you know anything? Like, what I'm saying? You haven't made what I need to see to show and prove that I can be divested in your upstart or something like this. But wanting those people to help you or something is like also the holding back part, because there's something you don't need as far as like a middleman somewhere, and we're all this career thing, it's like some things, for them to get to be what they are going to be, they just needed somebody to believe in it. And so I'm creating value, but I'm not really doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm creating value for something that might be considered unethical. You know what I mean? But I'm taking the risks that goes along with waiting for people to come produce and develop something, right? And then there's different waves of speculation and whatnot. And a lot of these things fail. They all fail. That's where the risk is. And then you get something. They come up with something. Like you get Amazon or something from the .com bubble, right? I don't know. I mean, that still doesn't help some people, though. Like, what I'm. It's interesting, though. Not everybody you don't help had your best interest in mind. And I'm like overhearing conversations with like doctors talking to people, their friends, people that they have relationships with, and that own businesses and stuff that they've patronized, and they'll be coaching them like, yo, this is like, are you telling somebody your really views, or are you coaching them? Because after you can tell by the tone that when they try to reward you for agreeing with them, and it's like, right, like you're supposed to you're going to emote the same, express the same or try to come across the same points as I do now. Like, I just admitted I'm a program that will try to change your mind to make you program the way that I program, and that would be acceptable. Like, yeah, okay. Why, when you believe they're doing the same thing? You know what I mean? And then they'll be surprised that I'm not affected by the power and sway that he has, right? But I did my homework. What's the problem with if I do my homework? You know what I mean? I'm not winning souls for Jesus or something. Like, I don't have enough. Like, you're supposed to go out and win 12 souls for Jesus every day before you sleep. I think this shit ain't healthy sometimes to be thinking like, you know. But yet, it's harder for some people to shake that. If they think they're supposed to, then it doesn't matter whether it's good for them or not, you know. And they would struggle to change their thinking. And sometimes people come along with help them get so far, turn them right back around and back into the same mode when they could have done better to free their thinking, free their thinking. Because we're a career, like there was something in it to be a handler, to being a handler. Like, you had to. You can tell that I watching a lot of bloggers and shit, because there's people that follows bloggers like religions, and there's bloggers that could be enemies that are actually working together. It's gotten to be there might be a reason for you, if you're a blogger, there might be a reason for you to have fake enemies, you know, because think of all the suffering that's going on because somebody doesn't know how to troll, you know, like not knowing how to troll is suffering, because you can't be mad. If you're trolling, you can't be mad. Your trolling is to give people to look at a perspective that you have without using so much energy that is futile to try to ramrod, try to polarization for galvanization for polarization. That's like the set up the reductive reasoning and shit. Like, I mean, I'm just saying that's how things evolve. I'm not saying it's set up. I'm saying, like, one thing leads to another. And you can already know, just like I said with the determinism rolling over into austerity, then you already know that there's a rift in the aristocracy or something, like, you know, and what we're dealing with is austerity having a place in municipality where it doesn't, or something like financial policy being affected by, like, identity and shit. Like, I identify as this, or and I need to see more of what I identify. When you already understand it's fiscal policy, you already understand. Anybody can break down fiscal policy and know. So what's the hold up?